All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're listening on YouTube. Welcome if you're listening on the podcast. I'm so glad you guys have joined me today. I'm Catherine. For those of you who don't know me or haven't met me yet, I am so glad to be here sharing this topic with you today, which is how to stay consistent on your diet when you're not really losing weight, or how to stay consistent, not just on a diet, because honestly, y'all, I don't like diets. I don't like them at all. I think that they are not good. So anyways, if you've been following me a while, you know that. I am a weight loss mindset coach, and I actually help women to break free from bondage that diets holds us in. And so I'm not all about diets, but I do know that when you're trying to lose weight and you suddenly stall and you hit a plateau, it's hard to stay consistent when the things that you've been doing don't seem to work anymore, and it just gets on your last nerve, right? Like you just want to quit and throw in the towel and say, I'm not doing this no more. This isn't working. Well, let me just shed a little light and give you a little mindset shift that can help you push through and stay true to doing what you're doing that you do actually know works for you. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm really excited to share a few things with you that I know is going to help you. Okay, so let's talk about why it's important to even stay consistent with what you're doing, like to try to lose weight. And I hate saying the word diet, but so many of you are on a diet. That's why you're watching this right now or listening to this on my podcast. And I just want to tell you, whatever you're eating, honestly, like is your diet. Okay, so I'm not saying stay consistent on your diet that you're like putting into place for 3 months to lose weight. I teach women how to not just look at the doing part of weight loss, but the becoming part of weight loss in the process. So there are things we need to do for weight loss, but more importantly are the things that we are thinking about ourselves, about dieting, about food. Like our food stories have so much to do with it. We won't get into all that in today's topic, but I just want to share with you why staying consistent is important. It's important because consistency breeds like results, right? We know that. Like when you're consistent at doing something, it doesn't matter if it's actually good or bad. You're going to get a specific result from doing that thing over and over again. So you're obviously really good at staying consistent. You've just been consistent at doing the wrong things, okay? And I don't mean the wrong things like you're bad. I just mean the things that aren't serving you well, okay? You've been consistent at making choices that have led you to the place where you don't want to be anymore, which is where you're at right now, and you want to lose weight and you want to get yourself healthier. And so here you are, right? So remember, it's not that you don't know how to be consistent. It's just that you have to relearn and like unlearn old things and relearn new ways of being and becoming. And that is a huge process. And you know, when you're trying to change anything in your life, if you're doing really well at implementing new practices into your life and new habits into your life that are healthier, you're removing some things that aren't serving you well anymore and you're replacing them with things that are serving you well. When you are doing that for a good period of time, and then you just have an off day and you think, okay, I've just had an off day. Say for instance, you're trying to kick sugar, but then 3 weeks you haven't had sugar, and then one day you're like, I ate this crazy amount of stuff today and it was sugar. Seriously, that's like not even a problem. If you just have just the one day where you're like, okay, I went back like to what I was doing before, because it takes a process of like unlearning the things that you're so used to doing and being consistent at, to learn to do something new and be consistent at. You can get stuck in all or nothing thinking and say, okay, I messed up this one day, and what it took you 3 weeks to accomplish, you can undo in 2 or 3 days of having this all or nothing thinking that says, I've already messed up today, I might as well just mess up tomorrow and mess up the next day and I'll start again on Monday. Like how many of you have said that? Seriously, like let me know. How many of you have said that? I've said it. I've said it so many times. Like, well, I already messed up this afternoon lunch on Friday, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mess up the rest of the weekend too, and then I'll start again on Monday. And that doesn't work because I'm undoing so much of what I've worked so hard to do, and it's frustrating and hard to stay consistent doing the right things when you're constantly going back and forth with what I call all or nothing thinking in those days where you have an off day. Okay, so have an off day, let it go. and just start over. Not necessarily the next day, but even if you had an off moment in your day, that doesn't mean the whole day has to go away. You can still stay consistent in doing the right things by making the mindset shift to say, okay, I didn't make the best decision here, fine, but I'm going to decide right now that I don't have to throw out all the efforts that I've already made, all the things I've already done. I'm going to make the next opportunity that I have to make a decision the best decision I can make for myself, to be consistent in what I said I want to do and in the habits that I want to create in my life and in the place I want to go in my life, which leads me to setting goals. Like, you have to have a goal or an end in mind to get to if you're going to get somewhere, right? Like, you don't just get in your car and start driving from where you are to the other side of the country without knowing where you're going, without having a map, right? And most of us are really good, honestly, at like knowing where we want to go. Most of us are like, okay, I want to go to the beach. Well, what beach do you want to go to? I want to go to the Florida Keys at this beach, you know. I want to go whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know a lot of beaches because obviously I don't go to the beach very much, apparently. But anyways, you say, I'm going to go to this beach. Well, you have to figure out what exact beach you want to go to, what state it's in, and then you have to get a map or like get your Maps app and make sure you have like where you're going to go and all the things totally taken care of, or else you're not going to get there, right? So you may have the end destination in mind, but you're going to be a lot less likely to get there if you don't have the process in which to get there or the plan in which to get there in place, and it needs to be realistic. So if you're driving from Canada to Mexico, and you decide, I'm going to go all the way west to California first, and then I'll turn around and then I'll go east, and then I'll come down here, and then I'll go wherever. Like, just the shortest, simplest way to get there. Be realistic about it and set goals that make sense. You're not going to get from Canada to Mexico in a day, unless you're like flying, maybe, probably, but like driving, okay? So be realistic. You know you need to stop along the way. You know you're going to need to have certain things with you along the way in case of emergencies and all the things. You have to plan, right? So make sure it's realistic. Have a goal in mind for the end, for your weight loss, whatever that number is, and make sure the plan that you put in place is realistic for you to get there. So some ways that you can set realistic goals looks like this. You have the end in mind to lose 100 pounds, for instance, okay? Whatever weight loss goal you have, write that down on a piece of paper, like the big end goal. It could be 100 pounds, it could be 20 pounds, it doesn't matter. Write it down on a piece of paper, and then next to it, write the word SMART. So the SMART would be specific. So for example, the specific goal is I want to lose X amount of weight, okay? The M, which is measurable. So for instance, you could say, I'm going to track my progress by weighing myself every week or every other week, something like that. And then make sure that it is achievable. If it's not achievable, if it's not something, it's like a big, crazy goal, like I don't know how to actually play basketball, but I'm all of a sudden going to be like on the best, you know, NBA team that there is and all the things, like, no. Okay, like that's not realistic. Okay, it's not achievable. So your achievable could be like, I'm gonna aim to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's achievable 100%, because 3,500 calories less than what you're actually eating is a pound of weight loss gone. It's pretty great, because like they've measured, whoever they is, I just read this one time and I thought it was so interesting that I think it was like 1 pound of fat is the equivalent of roughly 3,500 calories. So I thought, oh, hey, that's pretty interesting. So if you track where you're at, like use an app to track your food and all the things, you'll see how many calories you're actually eating. And then you can see where you might need to cut some here, cut some there, and don't do it in extreme ways. So you can eat just 3,500 calories roughly. I don't know that that's 100% accurate, but eat that amount less per week. And there's your achievable 1 pound a week weight loss, which is totally sustainable, because it's going to take a while for you to lose 100 pounds, like at a pound a week, right? So if you're doing it that way, you're going to have plenty of time to be changing who you are in the process and becoming, and I don't mean change who you are like, I don't know, like you're not good enough. I just mean becoming and identifying as somebody who does healthy things instead of somebody who just is hurrying up to try to lose weight on the other side. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, so make sure that it's achievable, make sure that it is relevant. And so a relevant part of this could be like, I'm losing weight because why? Why are you losing weight? Why is it relevant for you to lose however much weight you're trying to lose. So I want to lose this weight because I want to be healthier. And then lastly, just make sure it's time bound. So put a time stamp on it and make sure again that it's realistic, okay? Realistic will help you be consistent. So time bound is I'm going to achieve the goal in the next 2 years. So 50 pounds a year is totally doable, because if you look at how many weeks are in a year, there's 52 weeks in a year. If you just lose 1 pound a week for the entire year, you've lost 52 pounds. It's so much better to look at that in those small process goals, like the weekly goal. That's going from the SMART goal, the big goal, to the process goal. You're looking at, I'm gonna lose 1 pound a week for an entire year. And at the end of this year, if I do that, I'm gonna be 52 pounds less. Versus this mindset. I have to lose 50 pounds and I have to do it in 5 months time. I'm gonna do it really quickly, and then 3 or 4 months or next year, I'm gonna have already gained it all back, and then I have to do it again. Boo, nobody wants to do that. So just make sure that you are focusing on an achievable, like realistic time that you want to accomplish it in. So 100-pound weight loss in 2 years is great because you're gonna have plenty of time, plenty, to establish new healthy habits, which is what I teach my clients, and really what we work through when it comes to focusing on our mindset for weight loss. That is going to help us actually sustain the weight loss after and maintain it after we have lost it. Okay, so that's really what I work with, but I'm just trying to give you some practical application here today while you're on your weight loss journey. So setting a SMART goal is like looking at the final destination, okay, like the big place you want to go. And the process goal is like the roadmap to get there. Okay, so seriously, my nose will not stop itching right now. It is driving me crazy. I don't know why it won't stop itching. All right, so let's move on to the next point, which is to stay consistent is to track your progress. So in order to stay consistent, tracking your progress is so helpful. Really helpful. And there's many ways that you can track your progress, and you can track more than just your progress. You can track what you're doing. That helps you stay consistent. So like I love to use apps. Apps are great for everything, right? I use the Lose It app, and you can use MyFitnessPal. You can use, I mean, there's so many of them out there, right? Like just any food tracker app. I love to track my progress through an app because it just helps me stay consistent, because I can see visually what it is I'm doing. Or even taking pictures of your food and using an app called ATE, ATE. That's a really great app for people who are just struggling with maybe emotional eating and stuff like that. It's so wonderful to visually see what you're consuming versus just eating mindlessly, right? It helps you learn to intuitively eat as well, which is really important when you haven't had a good relationship with food. So track your progress. It can help you stay consistent. You can see how far you've come, how much you've achieved. So like the 100-pound weight loss thing, you could literally get out a piece of paper and make 100 little square boxes on a piece of notebook paper or something like that. Or you could get super techie and make it online. It doesn't matter. But you could do that. And then for every pound of weight lost, you just X out the box. I mean, that's tracking your progress. You're seeing every little X is like motivation for you to stay consistent, because look, you have 67 X's. You only have this amount to go. It's so wonderful and visual. So do what works for you, but tracking your progress is really helpful. Habit trackers, things like that. Accountability, having somebody that you can talk to, and especially on the days when you're like, man, I'm just not feeling very good. I want to not be consistent in my new healthy habits today. I want to jump ship. I want to go eat all the things because maybe you're having a hormonal day like I was yesterday. I was totally having a hormonal day, y'all. I needed sugar. Like I felt the need for sugar. I didn't really need it, but like my body was craving something sweet. And I knew that it would derail my efforts for me to go eat the Moose Tracks ice cream in the freezer. That's for my daughter, my husband, who love that stuff, and I do too. But it would derail my efforts and it wouldn't make me actually feel good. So I had the craving, and instead of beating myself up for having the craving, I leaned into that and I was like, okay, what can I do? So I just went to my Trim Healthy Mama cookbook, which I love, and I pulled out a recipe for what they call skinny chocolate, and it's legit like the easiest thing I could make. And I had chocolate. And I felt very good about that decision because it was good, healthy fat that I was eating, and I was doing something kind for my body. So it's really important for you to honor your body in your cravings and find good, healthy options that you can swap. And food swaps are so important. And honestly, if y'all want my healthy food swaps guide, just click the link in the description below that has all the links for you to sign up for different things that I have to offer. And so you can see all the things and you can get my healthy food swaps guide right there in that link. So you definitely want to check that out. And it can help you. It can really help you to decide what it is that you're already eating that you could swap out for something that wouldn't leave you feeling deprived, that would help you stay consistent on your diet. So the last and final thing that I want to talk about that is such a struggle for us with consistency is when we're not seeing those results on the scale, or we're not seeing the results in the way that in however we're tracking our progress, right? We have to have a way of tracking our progress. It's not just scale. If you have been losing weight and you're losing weight pretty well, like everything's working, you've lost, 5, 10, 15, 30, whoever knows amount of weight that you've lost, that's great. You know what you're doing is working. And then suddenly it seems to stop working and you're like, I'm being consistent in my healthy habits that I've established, but I'm not seeing results. And so my body's stalling, like the weight loss has stalled. I'm at a plateau. People call it lots of different things. So how do I stay consistent when I'm like not actually losing any weight? How do I do that, Catherine? Well, there's a couple of different things that are going on in your body, okay? You're battling mindset is like the biggest issue. But what's happening when you stall out like that is your body's just taking a period of resting and readjusting to the new space that you've gotten yourself into. It is not an indicator that what you're doing doesn't work, so you should quit. Because the only way to actually fail at achieving the goal of health is to quit doing the things that you know were working. Even if you're not seeing the results all the time, every single day on a scale. So measuring your results in a different way other than the scale is important for that reason alone, because the scale kind of lies to us a lot of times, to be honest, especially if you're on your time of the month, ladies. You could be 3 or 5 pounds heavier than you normally are. If you had an off day and you ate a lot of sodium the day before, who knows? Like there's lots of different reasons why just the scale is not a good indicator of your success and how you're doing, but it can help for sure. So make sure you're tracking your progress in other ways, like taking pictures of yourself, measurements of yourself, just keeping up with your habits. Like what kind of habits are you keeping? What's your practices? And making the best choices as often as possible, right? So when you hit that stall or that plateau, keep doing what you've been doing that you know that has worked for you in the past, that is working. Because even though it's not working like on the surface, your body's just taking a minute to rest and readjust. And it will catch up. It will keep going. You will be able to lose that weight and actually like move forward. But it won't happen if you get discouraged because it's not seeming to work as fast as you want it to work. And then you jump ship and you quit and you start eating all the things and saying, well, it's that all or nothing thinking, right? Like, I can't do this. It's not working. Like, I can't do it all right all the time. So I'm not going to do any of it right at all the time. A good way to stay consistent and stay motivated is to have those like things out in front of you that you can see. Like, this is where I'm going. This is what I want to do. So writing down those goals is really important. Having a visual, like I talked about, just making sure that you have like something where you can see your progress, pictures, little boxes you can check off, whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat and makes you motivated. Having a day where you're like, okay, once I lose this first 5 pounds or 10 pounds, then that I'm going to treat myself to something that is kind for me. Like maybe you're going to take yourself to the nail salon and get a pedi and a mani, or maybe you're going to go for a walk, a hike all by yourself, someplace beautiful that you enjoy, that you don't typically give yourself permission to do, or just whatever, like something that is I'm not going out to eat and like eating all the things. That's not the reward, but like find ways that you can be motivated to keep moving forward and reward yourself for your progress, and give yourself like little tiny mini celebration days, and just have somebody in your life even that you can text and be like, girl, I just lost 5 pounds, and you guys can like do like the happy dance together. Just have ways that you can do that. And just remember that setbacks are always going to happen. Like life is full of life. Like life happens all the time. So when you experience setbacks, when things don't work out the way you think they should, or you hope they should, or you plan that they should, or life is happening, that's not really a good excuse for you to not be consistent in what you said you want to do and in your healthy habit creation and in establishing new healthy habits, because life is life and setbacks are going to happen. So just go ahead and accept that, acknowledge that there's no place in life where you're going to get to where there's not something that you're going to have to deal with or overcome or push through. And so when those setbacks happen, instead of like quitting, just already make up in your mind, like decide today that I just am not going to quit. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to make the best choices for myself as often as possible, the best choices that you have available to you as often as possible, and don't quit, because that's truly the only way to fail, is to quit. So some ways that you can deal with setbacks is just reminding yourself of how far you've come, not how far you still have to go. Because you have achieved a certain amount of things, or you have, maybe it's just as simple as reminding yourself that maybe you've kept yourself and your kids alive up to this point. Congratulations, you've done something awesome. Like, remember how far you've come and all the accomplishments you have achieved in your life, even if they're not like on this, in your mind at least, on this grand scale of what you think other people are achieving or what you should achieve because you're holding yourself to some crazy high standard. Just look at what you have done, how far you have come, and give yourself permission to trip every once in a while, to not get the basketball in the hoop when you're trying to practice, right? Like, I'm sure you're not like trying to do that, but maybe you are. I don't know. Like, I've been practicing basketball with my kids lately. I'm no good at it, but it's kind of fun. But anyways, don't quit when you like shoot the ball and you miss, right? Like, just go get the ball, try again. And eventually when things like come at you like this, like when things come at you that cause setbacks in your life or cause things to happen that like feel like I just can't win, right? Like, man, I'm trying so hard and I'm doing all the things, and then it just seems to unravel all the time. Those times where you get knocked down, when you're staying consistent, when you have somebody that helps you with your mindset and like retraining your brain and removing those old thoughts and replacing them with truth and with what the word says, what God says, who you are, and loving things about yourself and encouraging things. So when those setbacks happen, because they always will, so go ahead and just know that they're coming, because that's just part of life, right? You will be able to push through them faster. They'll be shorter. There'll be a lot less like stalls in between each time, because you're going to learn along the way how to be able to get up a lot faster. So even though they'll happen, they'll be less frequent and they'll be less intense. They won't be as long. So just keep reminding yourself of that as you're learning and as you're growing. I really am so thankful that you guys are here learning with me today, that you're here just to process out, you know, what's going on in your mind, what kind of thoughts you've been having, how to stay consistent on your diet, how maybe you can establish healthy habits in a different way and look at those in a different way. I'm just really proud of you for being here today. So if you have questions and you want specific answers, just comment down below. Let me know, what are you struggling with when it comes to consistency in the YouTube video, if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're on my podcast listening to this today, hey, I would love for you to just share what your thoughts are on Instagram. That's a great way for me to connect with you on Instagram. Over there, just tag me at Drop the Weight Podcast, and I will talk to you. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to encourage you in where you're at and help you out any way I can. So make sure you guys grab those links in the description below. And if you're interested in joining the Drop the Weight group coaching and signature course program, right now I have 2 open slots, which I'm super excited about. I know I haven't talked a lot about that in this episode, but that's okay. If you want to know more about that, I do have 2 slots open right now. If you want one of those, I would encourage you to grab the link in the description below and join the other ladies who are really dropping the weight, emotional weight, all the internal stuff that goes on, changing their mindset and dropping the weight externally, because what goes on the inside of us always shows up on the outside of us eventually. And so if you want to really learn how to lose weight, keep it off, and get healthy from the inside out, I would love for you to come on over, encourage you to join us and go check it out. And if you have any questions about that, also you can book a call with me and we'll chat about that. If you loved this episode today, please, if you're on YouTube, give it a quick thumbs up. Leave me a little comment down below letting me know you were here, say hi, and that just helps the YouTube algorithm share my my content with more people, which is really helpful for me and helpful for the others that are seeing it as well. Because if it's helpful for you, it's definitely helpful for somebody else, right? All right, you guys, that's it for today. I look forward to chatting with y'all more again about some more weight loss mindset stuff in the future. So I will talk to you guys next week.